Hello, 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 ladies. Good good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are located. Hey, how you doing, no Emily? I wanted to talk about today. Um, I had heard about all these stories of like men taking advantage of young girls or kids in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and then I was just looking at all these podcasts, went down a rabbit hole of men. Hey, how you doing, Whitney? Talking about how like they just love, teenage girls, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and then all of these stories of men that have taken advantage of underage kids, whether they be girls or boys. And I was thinking like, has anybody ever really talked about like the mind of a man? Like, why are men obsessed with youth? And number two, why do men have impossible standards of beauty for women, but never for themselves? Like, you notice the men that will talk the craziest to you about how you look and things like that, and oh, I want a woman to look like this and that, or they'll judge a woman that they see online. They never look like anything. Have you ever wondered that? And I just wanted also, lastly, to ask if you think that most men have these issues, or do you think that it is a rarity amongst men? So that's the topic and stuff today for you guys, and y'all can let me know if how you guys feel about it, because I really do think that a lot of men have these issues, but just let somebody up here so we'll see if she can answer the questions. Go ahead, Colette.
Hi. The mind of a man. Why are men obsessed with youth? I think men
Oh, wait
are.
a minute. You're black, right?
I'm sorry?
Are you black?
I'm blackety black.
Okay, okay, I got you. I got you. Just wanted to make sure. Go ahead.
I think men obsessed. I don't know about that word. I think men are predators, and I think they want easy prey, like most predators. And I think it's easier for them to get younger people. Why do men have impossible standards of beauty for women? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I think they don't. I think men, I think, I think men will do whatever it is they think that women want in order to gain proximity to vagina. So if women don't, like, look at some of these slobs out here. Like, sometimes sometimes I want to say to a guy, somebody thought birthing you was a good idea. We add all of these people to the gene pool, and some genes are meant to die. But this system is set up where as many men can have proximity to reproduction as possible, and women go with it. So I don't think it's really about them. I think when women change, men have to change. Do most men have, what is that word? I can't see because of the box.
Certain issues, like, I just mean, do most men, do you think, have these issues?
I think yes. I think it's a lot about nature. I think the system is set. Look, if you drop the age of consent, men will go with it. They're like, okay, they operate on consequence and reward. If they're and even though there are consequences, they still try to sneak under the wire. If you drop a lot of these laws, you're going to see them turn into animals. And that is my opinion. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. All right. I got you. I got you. All right. Let me go next up here to Calandra. Hey, how you doing, sis?
Hey Trigger, how are you?
Pretty good.
I think because of grape culture, and I think more men are PBS than we like to acknowledge. I think that's the answer to number one. Number two, I think men have impossible beauty standards. I saw one time on Twitter where it was like uncomfortable truths. And one uncomfortable truth, harsh reality is that like hard to accept. I don't know if y'all ever see those if you have a Twitter. They was like beauty standards are based on children. And I definitely can't agree with that because like the way like for example how they'll judge like celebrities versus when they're like younger now. Like Jennifer Love Hewitt is one person that I'm really thinking of because when she was younger, you know what I'm saying, people was like, she's so pretty. And now that she's older, after she's had kids, I think she's in her 40s, and like how they were like talking about her looks then, I think that's the problem. I also think because women are willing to date guys that are not attractive, like you have really pretty women, beautiful women dating guys that are not cute because women are date a semi-ugly guy and give them like confidence. I think that's why, because like it was this video of this big guy and his pants was down and you could see his like underwear and he was talking about women, and I was just like the audacity of someone that can't keep their pants up to be out here talking about women is really crazy. But I definitely think it's the fault of women because, like I said, women are willing to date guys that aren't cute. And then you have men who will like always create TikTok podcasts and say that women want to date Pookies and Ray Rays. Like for example, Trigger, that guy that came up here that one time talking about how women never wanted to date him and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not attractive, homeboy. That's why they don't want to date you. And then what does number three say?
It just says, do most men have certain issues? Do they have these same problems?
Absolutely. I think that most men are not attractive. I think that most men are probably PDFs. And I think that that is not looked at enough. Like, for example, when Kiki Palmer was on that podcast saying how she was 15 dating somebody that was 21, like things like that. Like, it's not okay because why would it, or even with the Brandy situation, when she was saying that about her situation and how people tried to judge her, I think things like that, yeah.
All right, all right. I got you. I got you. I'll tell you the reason why I wanted to make this video, y'all, is because I don't know if y'all heard. I saw this video, right? They said that this white man from America came to Colombia to adopt three kids, 4, 7, and 15. And he had the 7-year-old boy on a balcony graping him. And the screams were so loud that the neighbors called the police and they arrested him and then took the 4 kids that he adopted. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, as God is my witness, man, like, what would make you do that? Like, honestly, you know that these are children, you know they don't have anybody, and you're adopting them only to abuse and grape them. And then it's like, how are you getting off? And first of all, it's a child. And number two, the child is screaming and hooting and hollering. And you just so out there with it that you try to come leave from the United States because you, even though a lot of rape happens here in the United States and a lot of people take advantage of kids in the United States, and I'm not going to say that that doesn't happen. I just know that he would have never felt comfortable to be on nobody's balcony graping no child here in the United States. Not that I think, because he would fear that somebody would tell. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just always thinking to myself, like, what is the problem? Like, why are so many men so predisposed to messing with children? You know what I'm saying? And then I just feel like, because I do feel like men are obsessed with youth. And just like Kalandra was saying, like when she talked about how they treated Jennifer Love Hewitt, I grew up watching the I Know What You Did Last Summers and all of that. And I remember everybody thinking like she was pretty and all of that. And looking at the new I Know What You Did Last Summer or whatever, I watched that too. And she doesn't look bad at all. And she looked fine. All she did is look like she's just an older woman. There was nothing wrong with her. So it's just like, why in the world? And then it's crazy because men are obsessed with youth. Like women have to stay looking youthful and whatever forever. But then you can have all of these old, crusty, over the hill men with their guts hanging over their pants, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it really doesn't. But you had something to say, Colette?
Yeah. I mean, we see it in all species. Why do we not think that human males are capable of this? I mean, like, why don't we even look at that? We talk over it, we glaze over it, their nature.
What do you mean?
Look,
What species? What are you talking about?
where where they'll mate with much younger animals than themselves, their own offspring. I mean, like, we see it everywhere, but we dismiss it in the human male. I don't understand why. And there's a male psychologist named Previn Carrion. He he's very ambitious, but bottom line is he has no hope for human males. None. Check out some of his stuff. Previn Carrion. He thinks the only males that will rise and elevate will become monks and go live amongst themselves isolated. Listen to this man talk. I don't understand why we think men can be trained like puppies. We just totally overlook their nature, their biological and their psychological nature. Do you know they say that our brains are so different, we look like different species from men. And their brains do toxic things that our brains do not. I just don't understand why we don't just accept it.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I do think that men are predisposed to certain type of actions. I'm not one of those people though that believes that human beings are animals. Like, we're above animals, and we're not animals in the way that they are. Like, we're sentient beings. So I don't know. The
Only
thing what you
because we
said.
can only because we can unalive them off.
It's not just because we can unalive them off. You think that a human is the same as a bear, or like a cow, because we can unalive them? I don't think that's true at all. We're not animals. Human beings are greater, and they're connected to the creator. And I always thought when people say things like that, it's like it
I think
almost reduces it
I think
reduces
all animals.
humankind. It reduces your children. It reduces yourself. And it's just simply not true. Now, I understand that people be doing stuff that they shouldn't be, but when we act like humans are on the same level as animals, most mothers would not eat their young. Most mothers wouldn't say, "Hey, you know what? You don't know how to walk yet, so let me go ahead and curb stomp my newborn into the curb because they're not learning." Or I have a child that's mentally delayed, or they're autistic or something. Let me go ahead and go get a knife from the kitchen and slice them and dice them. Like, no, most human beings are not doing that because we're not animals. However, a lot of animals would do that. So I'm not into like comparing like humans with animals. And I'm not saying that animals aren't creations of God as well. They are, but they're still not on the level as human beings. I don't know why humans want to put themselves on the same level as animals. That doesn't make sense to me. I would never do that. Go ahead, Kalandra.
I think also think that the problem is that like the over sexualization of like children, and I really kind of saw that with that D4VD murder unaliving case of that young girl. Like the picture that they use of her to try to paint her like she was older than what she actually was, like things like that. And then like how you have the blaming of children, like for example, if you ever was in a household where they said put something on because so and so is coming over, I think that, and then the blaming of like young girls, like in cases where you hear about children, young girls talking about their experiences with older men, and then you have people blaming them. Oh, you were aware and you were this and you was that. Like I was on a live one time with this one man. He tried to say, well, what if a child, and I'm like, you're a creep, because why are you even involved in conversations like that with children? Like, I'm an adult and I've never been involved with like conversations like that with kids. So I think that things like that. I think I don't want to say maybe the average man is a pedo, but I do think that it's more of them out here than we realize.
I mean, I think so too. I think it's more than we realize. And I think that even when it comes to like, men making corn around like teen corn, 18-year-old girls, 19-year-old girls, and then these men that are having intercourse with these girls are in their 30s and their 40s taking advantage of these girls and things like that. I know that that's considered um what's it called? What's the word for? I know that's considered to have intercourse with these girls that you're in your 40s, but I think there's something morally wrong with it. And I think a lot of men, even men that wouldn't necessarily go after like a kid that was 10, 11, 12, they would go after an 18-year-old, which in my opinion is rooted in the same sickness. So I don't know. I just feel like, and even when you talk to women, even women that are attractive, they will say that the most times in their life that they were really approached, even if they get approached by men later on in life, they were approached the most when they were young, in their teen years, and somewhere between adolescence to like 18, 19, 20, or however long you end up looking that age. And I think that's also scary. You know what I'm saying? Colette said let the food supply dwindle and see who eats who. You do know that there have been times in history where the food supply has dwindled and most people didn't eat each other. I need you to know that, if you didn't know that, historically speaking. I Okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I just always find it weird when people just compare like humans to animals, but I feel like most of the time if you feel that way, you probably like I don't know. I don't know. Let me not say that because I don't want to be messy. I just think that's just weird when people do that. But I also, another thing that I really wanted to talk about is the fact that men have impossible standards of beauty for women, but never for themselves. And I always thought that was very weird. And I really think that it's because, just like Kalandra was saying, there are so many women willing to overlook a man's looks because he brings something else to the table. Like, okay, his body's not the best, but he's really nice and kind, and he's not a cheater or whatever, or he really liked me, I know he'll respect me, he's not the cutest or whatever, or he's got some money, he can provide for me, he's a hard worker, so I'm not necessarily that attracted to him that I will do it, I will be with him. I think all of those things, it's women don't tell men the truth, because women, I don't care what people say, women might talk about like men's money or whatever, something like that, but women are not that hard on men's looks, not in the way that men are on women. Like, you have men that will literally be mean to you or not talk to you or ignore you because they don't find you attractive. I literally saw this video of this she is plus size, dark skinned black woman. And I felt so bad for her. She's young though. She looked like she was in her early 20s. And she was talking about the fact that at her college or whatever, there's this guy that they've had to work on things in school or something like that. And he's very rude to her. Doesn't speak to anybody else. I mean, doesn't speak to her, but speaks to other people. And she knows that it's because he doesn't find her attractive. And she says that this has happened to her several times. And I really believe that stuff like that, men talk about, oh, I tried to talk to a chick and she said no. That's not the same thing. Like as somebody being mean to you because they don't like your face or the way your face or your body looks. And I really do believe that men really do that to women. And I feel like that's not something that women do for the most part. And I think that that is also the reason why men can have all of these standards of beauty for women, but not for themselves. Like, because like I said, when I was looking at that live, when people were rating, when those men were rating those women, I kid you not, every last one of those men were not attractive. And it's like, who told y'all that y'all are in a position to be rating anyone? Who told you this? Like, no woman ever told you like, hey, you know what I'm saying? You're not You the last person that should be talking. No. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I think we as women are also a reason why some of this be happening. You know, but I don't know. That's just my opinion though. And I do think that most men have these leaning towards worshiping youth and being obsessed with youth and stuff like that. Like, you know, when you see old men and they be with their wives and they're both old and they still looking at all the young women and stuff. But let that woman do something like that. He not gonna be with it. But I don't know. I feel like even when it comes to things like that, I feel like men don't learn by you telling them how you feel, because men are lack empathy collectively and don't care. So I really feel like the only way that you can teach a man how his actions affect you is to do it to him. And I'm talking about, I did that in my real life. I remember I would tell guys that I was dating, like, hey, I don't like that you do this, or I don't like this or that. And I just started doing it to them. And most of the time they just stopped doing it because they didn't like how it felt when I did it. Because if I do it, it's going to be a million times worse than when you do it. I kid you not. I think I told y'all about this guy that I dated. And we didn't last long because I ended up dumping him. But he was like a guy that I got involved with, like, not a little while, but after my first marriage or whatever. And he would try to, like, I feel like he was looking at girls. Like, it wasn't like he was like super doing it, like super duper obvious, but it was obvious to me. And I didn't like it. And I had said something to him about it, and he made it like he wasn't really doing that. I was like, you know, I'm sorry, I got a phone call. I was he was making it like it wasn't really like that. So, but it was like that, and I didn't like it. And I remember I told myself, you know what? I'm going to start doing that moving forward. And you know what I did? I did it moving forward. This was like when I lived in Atlanta. So it was like a lot of fine dudes out there. I would just look, like, and I looked way crazier than he did. Like, I'm talking about looking at people in the eyes, up and down. I was going crazy. And you know, this man told me, like, I don't like you doing that. I don't, that hurts my feelings. I don't like that. He never did it again. All it took me was a couple times of doing that, and he never did it again. And I really truly do believe that you've got to do things like that. If women want a lot of this stuff to stop with men, women have to do it to them and make them feel bad. You got to make the old men feel bad, like they're just worthless. You got to make men feel like they just so terrible because they then don't look a certain type of way. And I don't feel like women do that. And I really do feel like that's why a lot of things be the way they be. Because women don't do it. And but that, you know, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I think wandering eyes are terrible too. But yeah, like we didn't even last long. I broke up with him not too long after all of that, because it was just like he was nuts. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, I really do believe that that's the best way to deal with men. If they don't feel how you feel, they're not gonna care. There's just no way they're just not gonna care. They're just not. So you've got to put them in a position that you were in. And I really mean that goes with anything. Anything you could think of regarding men, you're going to have to do it to them for them to understand. Because they're never going to care about the things that you're saying. They already going to check out mentally what you're talking. And I think most men have low attention spans when it comes to listening to women. I really do. Even the ones that act like they listen to you, I think they be listening, but they don't listen to you the way a woman would listen to you. And that's just what it is. So since you know that, you got to make them feel, because they going to remember how they felt. But I think a lot of this stuff, like I said, is able to happen because women just accept it as part of men, as part of this is just the way men are. But anyway, go ahead, Kimmy. Hey, how you doing, sis?
Hi, Triggered. Hi, Calandra. Hi, panel. Yeah, a lot of these men have wandering eyes. I'm so glad you brought it up because there's actually a study that shows if your man has wandering eyes online or in person, like you're with him, he's constantly looking at other girls, he's more likely to cheat. Which is like, yeah, but you know what I mean? The way that they gaslight you and tell you, oh, I'm not looking at anything. Oh, you're insecure, you're crazy. Whole time, Oxford, I think it's an Oxford study. Oxford have done a whole study. So all them liking, all them thirst traps on Instagram and all of that. I know what you are. You're about to cheat. And it's just like the disrespect women have taken and not given back. Because even, for example, where am I even going to find good looking men to flirt with? There's no, like, I barely even like this one. And I feel like they're so spoiled. These men are so spoiled. Every day I'm so sad that I'm attracted to them because when you look at women, we're literally gorgeous. And a lot of the things that men do in dating, women don't do. Like even I was watching a lot of houses in Virginia stories about women who contracted it. And majority of it, okay, most all of that I watched was from a man who was DL. Like they are completely disrespecting women and they would never ever ever stand for if we started infecting them back because women, it's like I think you mentioned it, it's very hard for women to infect men with houses in Virginia. So most of the people who are getting houses in Virginia are women from men. And these men are going behind their backs and diddling in their best friend's booty hole. And it's so common. I just went to go get a checkup today, sexual health. And then imagine I go to the houses in Virginia section, and unfortunately, it was a black woman. And a lot of women are literally suffering the brunt of these guys' outrageous actions. They're cheating. And even another woman that I know of that I've helped in Nigeria, I helped to get antivirals. Her husband cheated on her and he unalived from AIDS. Even in the UK as well, my friend, her mom was unalived. So a lot of these things, these men would never go for it. Even if you would give them something small, you might get pew-pewed. So the way that they can just destroy women's lives and just go on and create new families, like we need to start. I don't want us to be deadbeats, right? But if men got dropped with the baby, they would unalive the baby, and that's why women don't do it. But I do think we need to start giving them some of what they're getting.
Yes, yes. I mean, I definitely agree with you. I mean, I think you're right. Just in everything that you said, and I do think that we as women, we just don't do things. There's a lot of things we just don't do in the way that they do it, so they're able to do these things and get away with it. And I don't know. I just feel like that's why it hurts my feelings when women talk about like, oh, I will date an older man, he if as long as he has some money and things like that. Because when you do that, you perpetuate men being obsessed with youth and also men being able to obtain younger women, and you keep them in that mind state because you allow them access to you. They shouldn't be able to have access to you. They shouldn't. And I feel like when all of these men that look like doggone, I don't even know who, I can't even think of a good name of someone, these unattractive men to have these panels and they're rating women, talking about women poorly and talking about women's bodies and how they need to look like this and look like that and how they need to their bodies need to look like this, that, and the third. And then I go and click on these men's profiles and I'm flabbergasted because they don't look like they seen the gym since 1945. It's like, what? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to say. So, But yeah, I mean, I just was really, the conversation more, I also am just wondering is why so many men are cool with forcing also their sexuality onto children. And when I say that, I mean like, because this is happening no matter where you go, like all over the world, men raping kids, raping babies, and only caring about their own sexual desires above all else. Like you don't care that it's a little kid crying, screaming. You don't care you're ruining their innocence. You don't care that you're destroying them. You don't care. Like even like when one of my subbies or whatever had told me to look up Jordan Duncan, that 7-year-old girl that was passed away of sepsis while in the care of her white caregiver who was engaged to her dad, but Jordan Ducky was fully black. And I found out another part of the case, which I didn't know, that she was violently raped, vaginally and the back door. And that is how she passed away from sepsis, because her colon, well, she got a perforation in her colon. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, honestly, how do you get to be that much in your self that you hear this girl screaming and crying, you're actually unaliving her, and you're able to be aroused and all of that, and you're able to do that? Like, I don't understand it. And then it's like you're such a wild animal that that you soon as she's left in a place to where you can prey on her, you do it, you pounce on her. Just like the girl that let her boyfriend watch her 5-month-old baby, and supposedly she'd been dating him for 3 months. The first time she left that man alone with her baby, her newborn baby, mind you, 5 months, he fractured the baby's skull and unalived the baby, beat the baby's brains in. And it's just like, what is going on? First of all, the mother was bad anyway, because I don't care what nobody say. Because why in the world would you let a man that you've been dating for 3 months, and where's the baby's father at? Because the baby is 5 months and you've been dating him for 3. So what? Anyway, I'm thinking, like, what is the problem? And even with the guy that I decided to make the video about, the white tea man that had went to Colombia to grape the kids and had the 7-year-old boy on the balcony graping him, and his screams were so loud that that's why people ended up calling the policia. It's like, how do you get there to that degree of madness that you don't care? And why is it that most of the time when these things are happening, it's men? Now, I'm not saying there aren't any women that have raped kids and touched them and did things like that, because there are. But I'm saying that when you think about the violence and these type of things, most of the time a man is doing that. And I want to know why. Like, you know what I'm saying? And this isn't to say, because I'm like a very pragmatic person, I do believe that it's not all men, because if all men were violent rapists to that degree, the world would be in chaos right now, because women wouldn't be able to go anywhere. Like, you wouldn't even be able to go to the store. Like, you'd be like, oh, I got to go to the grocery store right now. You wouldn't even be able to go without an escort, because somebody would pounce on you. So I understand it's not all men that would do that, but it's a lot of men that do that and would do that. Even if you look at stories when, like, studies where they ask men, like, would they do this if they wouldn't get caught, and how a lot of men will say yes if they wasn't going to go to jail or prison or get in trouble in any way, or they could do it and be anonymous. But it's just like, bruh, and I definitely agree with what you said, Kimmy, in the comments. It is mostly them, especially when it comes to the woman side. But it's just like, I just don't know what, like, is wrong with them. And, like, even with me, I think I told this story before a long time ago. Like, I think I was like 10 or 11. I know I had not developed breast yet. Like, and I remember that my dad used to have his, like, best friends over on the weekend, and they would go in the backyard and they would listen to music and they would drink and stuff like that. Cause this is before cell phones. And it was like he had 2 best friends or whatever. And they both went to our church congregation or whatever. And it was one time, well, I already knew because my mother had mentioned something to me about watching out for one of his best friends that like he had this like weird fascination with me. Keep in mind, this man has a fascination with a girl that is like 10 or 11 that he's known since even before then. Because my father had been friends with these men and is still friends with these men, was friends with these men for a long, long, long time. So he would tell me things like, oh, you know, you're so pretty. Oh my goodness, you're gonna be a heartbreaker when you grow up. Like, boy, when you get to be older, men are just gonna fall at your feet. Like, why are you telling somebody that's 10 that? Like, are you cool? You know, but I remember it was one time that it was just him there with my dad. And I was outside there in the backyard for something. I think I was talking about my dad about something. And my dad went inside to get some more beers for the two of them. And he literally pinned me up against the car and was like going like this, like, what would your dad do if he saw me kissing all over his daughter? And just was grabbing me and touching me and doing all this stuff and talking about how beautiful I was. And I was flabbergasted, okay? I was like a deer in his headlights. And I remember telling my dad, and you know, my dad didn't even go off on him because he still wanted to be his friend. Like, they still stayed friends after that. Like, he just talk about some, oh, well, just make sure you're not alone with them again, you know, so that don't happen again. What? Huh? Like, anywho, and I'm talking about my dad say friends with this man for decades after that. Decades after that. And he was around all the time still. Like, I remember even when I graduated, I think when I graduated middle school, right? He came over, you know, and gave me, you know how like in a black community, I don't know if this is just a black community or it was back then when I was a teenager and like a preteen, but like black people would save up coins, like, you know, quarters and stuff and put them in like big water buckets or like big buckets or like, you know, water jugs and things like that. He had saved up like all of these quarters in like a chitlins bucket. And he gave it to me as a present when I graduated from middle school on the way to high school. And the way he looked at me, you know, when he gave it to me, I felt uncomfortable. And I remember my parents were just like, oh, you know, he just liked you. You know, he's just giving you a gift. But I always felt like very weird the way he looked at me when he gave it to me. Now, keep in mind, I was just a preteen. I definitely spent it. And we took it to the coin changer and I used it and bought stuff with it because it came out to a lot of money. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was like $500 or something, which was way back then, like in the 90s, like that was like a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? But still, it was just like, what is your problem? Like, and that is the type of stuff that I mean when I say, like, I don't understand why men be like that. Like, why are you know, I am a woman in her 40s now. I have never once in my life looked at a teenage boy and been like, oh yeah, I just, let me go touch on him. Let me go let him know that I'm sexually attracted to him. Let me, you know, that is gross. Like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember, like, this has been like maybe like a year or two ago. There was this young black guy that used to work in Whole Foods. He was like, I could tell he was in his early 20s. He used to really act like he really liked me every time I would go in there. He would flirt with me. He would remember me. He would talk about like my tattoo and he would just say all of this stuff. And I was just like, oh, okay, he liked me or whatever. I looked at him like he was a kid, even though he was grown in his 20s. I don't understand the whole idea of like looking at people in their teens and preteens. Like, and it's just something we normalize when it comes to men. I just don't understand it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Y'all. I just think, yeah, go ahead, Kimmy.
Because I think men are allowed to be degenerates. Because, like, I have the same experience with my dad as well. This old man at church would kiss me, like, in front of the congregation after church. And they would tell me to go to the car. and that he's not going to kiss my daughter, but like, yeah, we're not going to take you out of this church or stand up for you. You just have to ignore your instinct, ignore your uncomfortability, ignore the fact they're not there 24/7. So you're sat in places where you're forced to be with your abuser, because that's what it is. You're a child. Like, you have no defense. Like, even the concept of a child would take that and spend the money, right? They're thinking, oh, look at my piggy bank, it's full. Like, but as an adult, you're thinking, how the hell are you giving £500 to a child? £500. You're trying to buy a child. And this is the type of behavior that men in the family, men that are your friends, men that you date will normalize and also do themselves. And I'm tired of people trying to cut corners around it. Most of them are fucked. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, and this is a real life experience, not just a topic, because you have to face the consequences of these traumas every single day. Every single day. So I just think that a lot of this stuff has been normalized. And I think whitey women, like you said before, no, why does no one talk about them? Whitey men, but whitey women are their own class of predators. I don't know if you saw that Family Annihilator, and it was this woman called Emily, and she offed her whole family except one child and left that child in that room for 15 hours. Because she stole £500,000 from work and she didn't want to go to jail. Like, they hurt children the most. And Black women, I've seen personally in my real life, try and save the community, save all the races of children. And where is that energy back? We're not getting that energy back, because they've never had it. Even with slavery, I always thought it was weird that whitey women and men would make Black women wet nurses. You say we're disgusting, we're hypersexual, we're ran through, we're this, we're bridled, we're animals, but you let your baby suck on our bodies and see, like, I think part of that is weird, but it's also energy siphoning, but it's also weird in the child sense. Like, why you even want to see it's just weird. I think that whole culture, the Epstein, the Trumps, where they be non children, they be putting them on dishes. Like, and the thing is, it's most men. Because how can you see that? Even my own brother supports Trump in the UK. How are you in the UK and you support Trump? Would you? And you're BLK through and through, Nigeria and Yoruba, and you support Trump that says, I want to put a finger in somebody, bro. And he's got rape charges. He's in Epstein's log list. How many times has he been mentioned? They don't care. Like, most men enable this.
I mean, I definitely agree with you. I don't, girl, I don't know. I don't know if these things can be fixed. I mean, I really, if y'all want to know my true thoughts on this, I don't think it can be fixed. I think it's something that is intrinsic to men for the most part. I just think that's just what it is. It's disgusting. And I just think that's just the way it is. Because I was just like, when you were talking about church, I was just thinking, I remember, and this is crazy, I remember these things. And now that I'm older, I just think like, wow, I remember being, I think my mom had bought me this dress, like, right? And it was like a scoop neck dress, and it was like down to my ankles, but it had like a little scoop neck ruffle top. And you know how like you have those like little summer milkmaid dresses that like sometimes go well, like they're like cut right underneath the breast. I think at this time I was like 13, because I think that's when like my breasts like exploded and they got like big. And I remember this is the other friend of my dad's. He was like, hey, how you doing? Because we had to go to these like congregation meetings out of town. Like there were big congregation meetings to go to out of town. And so, you wouldn't see the people that you see in your regular life, and you walk around and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I know you. You're from my home congregation. So he saw me and he was like, hey, and he gave me a hug. And he had turned me because I had kind of hugged him to the side. He had turned me to where my breasts were like pressing against his chest. And it was the way that he looked and the way that he hugged me. And I felt like dirty when he released me. And he looked very weird afterward. And I just remember being like, and at that time I was 13. So I knew what type of time he was on. And I was just like, oh, and I don't know. I just have never did anything like that. Like I was not even in my mind to do anything like that as an adult woman. Like, and even when I was a teenager, because I used to babysit a lot. Like, I babysat boys and girls. I washed up little boys, you know what I'm saying, in the tub, changed them. I never once thought anything, you know what I'm saying, like inappropriate or like, oh yeah, I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? So I just don't understand how you even get to that level of depravity. I guess what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know. I don't know. Like how you get there. But it's so many men that are there. Like I was watching this video. It was a girl. I know she was in Africa, but I don't know what country. But she was next to this old black man. He was old as heck. He was bald-headed, overweight, and she was young, pretty thing. Like, I don't know, probably, I know she wasn't 18. So maybe 13, possibly, from the looks of her. And they're getting married and she's weeping and he's sitting there smiling. What the heck you smiling for? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know what's going on. It's really disgusting to me and it's really bothering me. Like, it's really, really bothering me because there's so many girls that don't even get the chance to like be kids or be teens without some creepy man putting his own old perverted ideologies onto her. And not to mention it's happening to the boys too. It's happening to little boys as well. Cause my cousin was great by his mama's boyfriend. And I don't know if this is politically incorrect to say, but he would always say that that's why he was GAY. No disrespect for anybody to say he told me that. So I don't know. I just feel like it's just a lot going on. But I guess I didn't really plan on talking about this for a long time. It was just that when I saw that video of that white man abusing that baby on the balcony, I just couldn't. I don't know. And then the fact that they just escorted him out was crazy because they said that in Colombia, a lot of times they know they have a problem with white men specifically going there for smex tourism with the express purpose of raping kids. And they say that they be letting them adopt kids as well so that they can basically have these kids whenever they want. They can rape them from the morning to the night and however they want to. And they said sometimes what they do is when the white men get found out, they'll let them leave the country and won't even give them any type of prosecution, which is wild. Like, first of all, what they should have did, never mind. I can't even say what they should have did, but read between the lines because my goodness. But anyway, y'all, did you have anything to say before I get out of here, Kimmy?
Yeah, I was gonna say that there's a loophole that they do. I was actually researching it. Sorry, can you hear me or is it echoing?
Oh, no, I can hear you.
Okay. There's a loophole that a lot of them do where, for example, this pedophile, he was convicted, went to prison, and got a surrogate instead of adopting. So he was with his husband, so another man, and they got a baby, even though he's a convicted child schmedophile, and gone to prison, served it.
That's disgusting. You see what I'm saying? Like, I just don't. Man.
But can I say that this is the white people are hurting and unaliving their own children, okay, from the top to bottom, from these Epstein files to these women who will be allowing their abusive boyfriends to like grade their children. But then when it's our children, black BLK children, BLK girls and boys, look how they unalive that boy. Do you know is it Chow? Mr. Chow, the guy who unalived the little black boy he thought he was shoplifting, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
And they traffic the little black BLK girls. And there was even one where he was infecting like 400 girls with houses in Virginia. You know what I mean? And in Africa, like this rich whitey man, he would fly over. And even we saw Ashley's case when in Zanzibar. And he's gotten off with it. No, like, so this, and that she's not teenager, she's not child, but this is just BLK women and children. They're included in both. I include them.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, I don't know, y'all. I just think it's just so terrible, and it's just so many stories. Like, even as Kimmy was talking and she was talking about those stories, it's so many that came to my mind while she was speaking. Horrific acts of violence. And I'm not even going to mention them to y'all because I don't want to bring y'all down. But I just really, I hope that maybe one day we'll be able to find out how to stop this behavior. I don't know if they need to have, like, you know how you have like the Depo-Provera shot, and that's supposed to stop women from, getting pregnant. If they have some type of shot that men could take that will stop them from being like this. But I don't know. I just feel like if you are a black woman and you are actively dating, I feel like asking like a man like about his preferences as far as the age range of people that he would talk to. I know if he says, oh, he wouldn't mind talking to somebody younger, I think that should mean she should automatically not talk to him. For real. I think maybe even another good qualifier is to ask him would he date an older woman. If you say no, maybe you shouldn't talk to him because, if you get what I'm saying. And I don't know. I just feel like, I guess, like, something's got to be done, but I don't know what's got to be done. But the men are just getting out of hand, like, for real, with all of this, preying on, kids. Because even, I think I told you guys that, I had a friend that, passed away from femicide. Her husband had, basically, she ended up passing away from her injuries, but he unalived her. Like, he pew-pewed her a whole bunch of times because he was mad about their custody agreement and stuff like that. And she had a child that she passed away now, but she had a child that is autistic, like severely autistic, nonverbal. And while in someone else's care, she was great multiple times and ended up contracting a STD. And when you think about that, like, do you know how sick you gotta be to take advantage of a little girl? First of all, it's a little girl with pigtails. Number two, a little girl with pigtails that can't even speak, can't even verbalize anything. And you're doing that to her? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't be understanding, like, what's wrong with people. All I know is for people that don't believe in God, there better not be a God. Because if so, I really believe that something's going to happen to you in the afterlife. So you better hope there's not. Well, you better hope that you're the one that's right. Your belief system is right. Because, my God, why would you do that? Why would you do that? How could you do that? And that's what I'd be wondering, like, how do people have the mind state to do it? Like, what would make you do that? There's literally no circumstance in the world that would make me do something like that. I can't imagine what would ever make me. There would never be any way, any circumstance that I would ever take advantage of somebody in that way. And they wouldn't have to be underage. It could be a man that was like just what's the word I'm looking for? Like cognitively delayed. Like, and let's just say he was the most handsome man in the world. He was cognitively delayed. I still wouldn't. That person can't give consent to nobody. They're not there. Their mind is not there. Their mind is gone. So why? What do you look like trying to touch on them? And I always thought that was weird too. When you have people that are like, they have mental delays and things like that. I don't know the proper term to use, so hopefully I'm not being offensive. But like when you have people that like have mental delays and things, and then they end up pregnant, like, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing that? That's just a vulnerable adult. Yeah, a vulnerable adult. Like, why are you doing that? That's disgusting. They can't tell you no or yes. They can't tell you that this is okay to do. So why are you doing something with somebody that can't tell you it's okay for them to do it? That's sick and disgusting. You know what I'm saying? And I just heard this story about this old white tea woman, and it's so sad. She had terminal lung cancer, and she had a son that an adult son that had Down syndrome. I think she was like in her late 60s, and her son was like in his late 40s. And she ended up unaliving herself and him because she was afraid that when she passed away, that somebody might do something to him and abuse him and hurt him. And that's so sad because you can't even say that she was wrong, because somebody could have definitely did something to him. He had Down syndrome, and I've seen a lot of Down syndrome adults and also children, and they seem so loving and so happy and so happy-go-lucky. That's just what I've seen. Now, maybe other people that may be an expert on, that condition could tell me something different. But that's what I saw. And I just feel like something possibly could happen. People just trying to be mean, and it's just terrible. Because even I just told you I had a friend that passed away from femicide. She was in like the nursing hospitals for a while because she was so sick with still dealing with everything that happened to her. And people there were stealing from her, trying to take her pain medication because she had like prescriptions for like extreme pain, like fentanyl and a whole bunch of other stuff she was able to take because she was in such a severe amount of pain. And like, I remember I had went to so many different, because she went from care facility to care facility. And there was this white tea nurse that kept pressuring her to use her fentanyl. And I'm just thinking, like, this woman, her whole body is torn up from all of this scar tissue, from all of the bullet wounds, and she needs the fentanyl to function. And you're over here trying to take it because you're an addict. So I already know that just because somebody goes to a home and stuff like that, there's not necessarily they're going to be protected. So I did understand why the lady did it. I wish that she would have had different options and maybe some resources, where she didn't feel like she had to unalive her child. But, she was just terrified for him. So, but anywho, I don't know. Or like the women that be in a coma and then they find out they pregnant or something like that. And the women are completely unconscious or whatnot. And you got men over there humping on them. Like, what is wrong? It just be so much stuff that just be going on that I just be like, I just can't even imagine it. Like, I pray I don't never come across anybody that has that character that's that poor. And what's crazy is you never know. You never know if the person has character that poor until they have the opportunity to do it. So you don't even know. But anyway, y'all. Yeah, I think I'm probably depressing myself and y'all. So sorry.
Oh no, I've literally been researching this yesterday because I can't believe that, especially after the Epstein thing, no one's talking about this. And I think you're doing a really good job, because even this video I watched is called, I think, Behind the Mask. And it's a Schmiedophile doing an interview where he's masked up and he's speaking to these people about how he's attracted to, 61 backwards down. So like to 7 to 61 backwards. So like he was saying how he's not acted on it, but he's fighting the urge and he can't tell anyone and all of this. And it's the same as being in the rainbow community, because you can't help the thoughts that you have. And I'm like, oh, here we go. They started. They started.
Girl. And you know what? I hate when those type of people try to make it seem as if they're anything but a sicko. Like, I feel like once you expose to me that you like kids, I look at you as a subhuman. Like, I'd even look at you like you're a human being. I don't care what, just 1 second. It's pulling up something for me to put this piece together on the live. Hold on. I don't know why it'd be doing that. Okay. All right. Yeah, I would say that, once you say that you have some type of, you know, oh, I can't help that I like kids, or I can't help that I'm, what do they call it now? MAPS, minor attracted person. You say anything like that, I automatically looking at you like you're a subhuman piece of scum. Like, period. Like, I would never, ever change my opinion of you. Ever. I feel like, that is one thing that I feel like can never be redeemed in my eyes. I'm not God or anything, but I feel like you liking kids, touching kids, you even having the thought of touching kids, there's no redemption for you in my eyes. I would never trust you. I don't think you can be rehabilitated. I think you're always tarnished. I think you're always a horrible human being. I don't think you could ever come back from that in my eyes, ever. And it's crazy because it's women that really act like men can come back from that. It's women that will sit there and let a man come back into their lives, be around their family, and he's did something like that. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Oh, and you know what, y'all? Now that I'm talking about stuff, do y'all know I saw a video yesterday of a woman that almost died of sepsis? She had to be on life support, and also she was on like the breathing machine because 5 days after having a baby, she let her husband have intercourse with her because she didn't want to him to cheat on her, and he did it, and she got a massive infection. And I was thinking, first of all, no disrespect, but you're a goofy. You're a goofy. Because I have 2 children, okay? I have 2 daughters. You doing that 5 days is insane. Do you know that you're still very open, very dilated? You know how everybody knows how open you have to be to vaginally pass through a baby. You letting somebody be up in there like that and you haven't even shrank up yet, your body is open to basically any infection of all time. Anything can go up in there. That's insane. The fact that she would let him do it and the fact that he would do it is nuts. Honestly, nuts and crazy. Insane. I waited well after the time of when the doctors say that it's okay to have intercourse after having my children. And my husband was still lightweight, didn't want to. He was like, "You sure? You okay? Huh?" And like something happened. I had pain the first time. He was like, "Yeah, no, we gonna stop right now. Cause you're in pain." So I don't know what is up with these women like being with men that like don't give a crap. Like you with a man that do not care about your body at all. Like, like I just can't even imagine it. Now I feel sorry for her because she was really messed up, y'all. like really at death's door. But still, with that being said, why would you do that? If your man who's supposedly supposed to love you would do that, I promise you he don't love you. He don't. Cause he could go ahead and you know what? He could take care of himself. You mean to tell me I birthed your child, brought your child in this world, and you can't take care of yourself for a while I heal up? Like what? Like what are we talking about here? That and you know what's crazy? This is not the only time. There was another one. It was a case in India where a woman did the exact same thing. And this time she didn't want to do it. But her husband kept pressuring her and pressuring her and pressuring her and pressuring her and forced it on her. And she also got sepsis. She also almost unalived. And he didn't even come to the hospital. And she was talking about the fact that it hurt her so bad, he didn't even come to the hospital. So, like that type of thing is happening a lot. You know what I'm saying? And even with a friend of mine, her sister, she ended up having intercourse. I think she told me it was like, she said, "Oh, I feel okay." And I remember telling her, "Baby, you're not healed up yet. You shouldn't be doing nothing." And she was telling me, "Oh no, it's fine. It's fine." And she ended up getting pregnant immediately after giving birth. And I was like, "Girl, what's wrong with you?" And to some dude that didn't even like her. Like it was, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what be wrong with some women either. Cause baby, I would never. Matter of fact, if a man was to ask me, I'm already divorcing you because you asked. Cause why would you ask me something so disgusting? That let me know you don't care about me. So we need to go ahead and end this relationship, and I need to go ahead and divorce you. I kid you not, I really mean that. If I was in a marriage and a man asked me to have intercourse, and I had a baby 5 days ago, we're getting divorced. I'm gonna be a single mother. I promise you that I'm gonna be a single mother. Cause we're done. Cause what the heck? That's like a man getting a heart surgery, open heart surgery, and I come in there talk about, you want to go for a run today? Or how about this? How about you give me the most enthusiastic back shots of all time right now? Even though you just had heart surgery, go ahead, get cracking. Give me some back shots right now. Deep stroke it. Bang, 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 bang. You know? Like what? I'm doing too much, y'all. My bad. I'm doing too much. I see that now. I've gone too far. You see that? I always be going too far.
Bang, bang.
Yeah, I've gone too far, y'all. My bad. But seriously, like, I don't get it, y'all. But I'm about to get up out of here, y'all, for real. Cause I got some things to do. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, you said add you up. Hold on. Why somebody report me? I don't even know who reported me. But somebody reported me. I just got 4
Because
restrictions.
Trig, what the hell that I just came in on? Back
Girl,
shots and bang, bang, bang.
oh, I was just playing. But I'm about to go. Monica. But if you have something to say, sis, you can.
All right, let me get this real quick. I think men are obsessed with youth when it comes to women because it's a mind thing. They think that, young girls are dumb, small, gullible, and they can have easy controlment. Why do men have impossible standards for women but never for themselves? Because they think that they are the prize. That's pretty much to sum it up. In their land of delusion, where the mayor is a king muppet and their only source of transportation is a trolley, they are the prize. Do most men have such and such? What's the C word? I can't see that.
Well, they do have erectile
Certainly, certainly.
dysfunction issues. I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, they do have erectile dysfunction issues. Like Will Superhead said, not every man on earth is a big one and don't know how to work it either. So yeah, they do have reptiles dysfunction issues. Oh, oh, do most men have certain issues? They don't have certain issues. Most men have all the issues. Every issue you can think about known to mankind, they have those issues. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap that up real quick.
Monica, you need to stop playing.
What? Well, okay. Well, I did. I mean, in their land of make believe, okay, where their mayor is the hand puppet, is a hand puppet king. You know, that's their ruler. Is the hand puppet king. Their only source of transportation is a trolley. Yeah, they think they are the prize. Yeah, in their land of make believe. Yep. You know, for those who don't understand that reference, you know, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. We all, majority of us are millennials up in here, and Gen Xers. So yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it right there.
All right, all right, all right. I got you. I got you. Always can count on Monica to come in the clutch with the stuff also. All right, y'all. Well, I appreciate y'all. And I hope y'all have a great, what is this, Tuesday? Great
Yeah.
Tuesday. I might come back a little later today. If not, I'll try to come back tomorrow. But yeah, I'm only gonna be doing like hour lives for a while because I'm trying to really finish this book up, y'all. So I think I said I was still gonna try to upload on YouTube. So I think for a little while it'll kind of be like mostly live streams and stuff like that. So I got my live stream in for you guys to listen to tomorrow. If y'all didn't hear it, this will be up there tomorrow. All right, I appreciate y'all. Thanks so much for Kalandra who came up. And also thanks so much, Kimmy, coming up, keeping me company and giving so much good information. Also, thank you so much, Miss Monica, for coming up. I appreciate y'all. And also thanks to all the beautiful, lovely ladies, the queens in the chat. I love y'all and have a great day. And hopefully, you know, everything works out for y'all today. See y'all.
All right. See you. Bye.
Yeah, have a good day.